to kind of spread knowledge in a slightly different way than we've done before. So we're taking a little bit of a cue from what the Worlds Collide community had done for a while with their Moogle's First Seed, and having some experienced people run a specific seed that we'll host on info.tella.life. There will be a link to that in the video below. The URL isn't fully figured out where exactly it's going to live on that site, but it will be somewhere on info.tella.life. But we'll be having a few people run this. The seed itself will be hosted there, so you can always go play it. And then we will we'll try to give you as much opportunity to learn. We'll talk about what we're planning to do, what we're doing. We'll probably have a little bit of a slightly different way of approaching the seed. So hopefully you'll get a good idea of some various approaches and make it a little bit more easy to get in and to kind of get some of the thoughts of people as they're playing a seed, how they're approaching it. In this instance, we have a flag set that should overall be pretty quick, but have some decent coverage. We have 3 objectives, so 3 things we need to do that we'll do in order to get us to get the crystal, which is required to transform Thromus and defeat him in a final fight. So we have to drop the magma key into the Aggregate Well, so we'll have to obtain the magma key. We'll have to have Kokol forge the legend sword with the adamant in order to get an Excalibur. Yes, that will be on in this seed. And then we will trade away the pink tail. So we'll need both the hook and the pink tail. So we'll need a total of 5 key items in order to defeat the seed, plus whatever key items are required for us to get there. And so we'll go over the flags as well. Again, you get a reiteration of your objective flags. So we need to do all 3 of those to win the crystal. Our key items are going to be just at the main location. So they'll be just at spots that you got a key item for the most part in the main game. Sometimes you will get one at the football defense, which you didn't do in the vanilla game. We got a black sword for that, but you get a key item here. And then in the main game, you got the Enterprise for defeating, for liberating Baron Castle. But for Enterprise, you start with the Enterprise, so you get a key item there. The pass is in a shop. The pass is one of the ways to get to Zeromus. The other will be with the Darkness Crystal and walking down the lunar subterranean. We have C relaxed, so there is no gating on our characters. They have the abilities of them in the Japanese game, which means that Yang gets the power ability and Palom gets bluff. Those are the 2 key ones that are important. Also sometimes useful is Cecil's Dark Wave ability. In some niche applications, Porum's Cry is also useful. But you're really doing that so that Yang gets power, which is a nice boost for him in a couple of ways, and Palom gets bluff, which is also nice for him. We do have T empty on, so treasure chests that do not have monsters in a box will be empty. That is mostly because we also have S wild and free on, so shops can have anything. They're still divided into their categories. You'll still find armor in armor shops, items in item shops, and weapon in weapon shops. But there's no gating on tiering, so you can see adamant armors in shops, you can see crystal swords in shops, you can see all of the wild and powerful items there. Things are free. We do restrict that you can't get apples, which also means you can't get Soma drops, so we won't be able to add HP or MP to characters outside of normal level gains from what's in shops. And that's mostly done because there's a couple ways to get through the seed by just eating tons of apples and throwing some Japanese items that we call J items to do damage, and that's even more boring once you play it a few times. So we've turned that off for this. Kind of give you a super condensed, super powerful, but also realistic-ish version of what the game looks like. We have B standard and Wyvern, so that means bosses... certain bosses, Wyvern, Golbez, Valvalis, won't gate our underground access. Neither will the Odin spot. Of course, the Odin spot under K-Main can't have a key item anyway. And Wyvern means that Wyvern won't start with a Mega Nuke, will just start with a wall. In certain cases that can make Wyvern more dangerous, it won't matter in this seed probably. There's also a good probability we don't see Wyvern at all, because again, we're only fighting K-Main spots. E-toggle means we can go to the custom menu here and turn encounters on and off anytime during the game. Lastly, we have the life, the sylph, and the back row glitches. You want to take a look at the Newbie's Guide to Glitches that's available in the Guides and Resource section or in the listed on the wiki for details on how to do all these things, but the life glitch in very short is throw a life potion or cast the life spell from a white magic menu onto an enemy as it's dying, and you'll get extra credit for killing them as long as they're not a boss or something with the boss bit. The Sylph glitch is a way that the Sylph spell does not cost Iridia MP as long as she's not in the middle spot. And the back row glitch allows you to have people attack in the back row with the full power of their weapons and not get any penalties for being in the back row as long as you have at some point given them a long range weapon, which is like a bow and arrow or a boomerang for edge, or various other things that provide long range. We also do have the spoon flag on, so Edward does get the highest attack power weapon in the game with the spoon at 255 and can't equip it, which is kind of fun. Also, some things to note in terms of flags. We do not see any no freeze on, so you can have the K flag modified by no free, which would indicate that Edward no longer has a key item, that instead it's on Demist, where you would fight Demist, defeat Demist, and then go visit Rydia's mom in Mist Village in order to get a key item from her. But since no free is not on, Edward does have the key item. The See No Free is not on, which means we will collect characters at the free locations, which is something we will be doing. When you see AC section without the no free, so you do have free characters on. You pretty much want to collect people fairly soon. There can be reasons when you're playing a seed where you might want to skip that. If we started with like Edge and we got really good Edge weapons, Edge could carry us through most of the early game and we wouldn't bother picking up characters for a little bit because they'll just kind of get in the way. And we could theoretically do that with Sid, and I might if we find like an arty bow and arty arrows early, because Sid can carry pretty hard there too. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably play this a little bit differently than what I think other people are going to do, just to show a different path. I might lean harder on mages, because we'll be able to get sirens and get levels on them pretty quickly. Sid can be a very capable fighter, so we maybe go a long way with just Sid. Kind of see, we'll play it a little bit by ear, and I'll try to do something a little bit different. And then also Be No Free is turned off. We don't have the No Free modifier on the boss flag, which means that we're not modifying boss scripts beyond just that wyvern, because the Be No Free flag makes all bosses, all things that you'd fight in a boss spot, have the boss bit. Which means that Baron Guards become a lot more dangerous. Dark Imps become fairly dangerous. The King Queen Evelyn no longer will just cast magic at a few times and then disappear on their own, so you have to actively kill the bosses. That Be No Free does not change Odin's script at all, so if you do know the Thunderstruck method of killing Odin, that's still available to you, because that's still that's not a free thing to get done all the time. But I think it's a good introduction overall. Remember again, we won't open any treasure boxes in this flag set, because it is empty, or there will be the one that we open that has key items in it, or a chance of a key item in the Fey March, and we'll get to that when we get there. But this will be more focused on shopping and collecting characters and then beating spots. So anytime that you see S Wild and Free, you want to pretend that TMP is on, because opening treasure chests will be slower than just going to shops. You see more shops, you'll be able to see more things in a shop and make quicker decisions about it than you'd be able to do with looting for treasures. There can be other things that change your opinion on that, but that's not in play here, and some of them aren't even in the mainline version of the randomizer. So we won't go into that in any depth at all, other than note that there might be some things that would modify your opinion on that, but there'll be something that like otherwise affect shops or treasure chests in some way also. All that said, let's go ahead and hit A to start the game. We will start off, get our Sid, get a secondary character, and we'll also see who is the boss of the Bygone spot, the first boss of Baron in the land as a key item. So we do get that Edward. Now we're hoping for a spoon, and we get Octomam there, and we get a Twin Harp. So we could do Cave Magnus very soon, but not really that interested in doing it immediately. It's kind of a slow check, but it is something that we keep in mind. The way I track is I use Scala's tracker just for key items, and I also keep track of the boss at that Bygone spot and mark that. And Scala's tracker has key item, character, and boss tracking, and I only use it for key items and only use it for that boss spot. But you should play a bunch and figure out what works for you and be willing to evolve what you're doing. Here we're going to start in Agert, and we're going to go straight to the back, see what's in weapon and armor shops. White lances are good. We're going to buy 99, sure, why not? I'm not going to bother with charm rods. They're good, but Stardust rods are better. You can press the select button at any point where you can like look at an item, and we'll save this menu on so you can see what the stats are. And so you like that shows that this is a white spear, and the stuff next to the name in parentheses, that's a magnet and a shuriken, which means that this does magnetize Cain and it can be darted by edge. Then you have its attack power over to the top right versus its accuracy. So it adds 109 to Cain's attack power, but it has an 80 accuracy, which means that when the game rolls to see if an attack hits, it's got a 20% chance natively to miss. When something casts a spell, you can press up on it in the menu in order to select it, and it'll cast. This one will cast the white spell. Items from or spells cast from items have a set spell power. So this white will only do about 700 damage or so. Definitely not strong as a white mage casting it, because again, set spell power, set number of multipliers, but very good early. And then the deals holy damage is the actual physical damage that it does. The white spell will always act like the white spell, but this white spear does deal holy damage. Is strong against spirits and strong against flying foes. We're not going to bother buying the poison arrows or the crossbow. Neither of them are good regardless. And we'll go ahead and buy 99 power shirts. Power shirts are very cool. They have 15 strength. The 15 defense is okay. The 10 evade is not great and it has no magic stuff, but 15 strength is really cool. It's a lot of extra damage. So we'll go ahead and give a power shirt to both of them, and I'm going to clean up the inventory. We don't need a prisoner robe, and we don't need a bard shirt. Next we'll go to the inn here in Agert. That is where you can also buy items. And we're going to be looking for Bacchus wine. Illusions are pretty cool, so let's buy some Cure 3s. Illusions cast the blink spell, and let's buy some life pots. Other things I want to look for are our Bacchus wine, Siren, and Hourglass, and Coffin. Next we're going to go up to the Troya town. And because there are 2 item shops here, so we'll be able to get 2 weapon shops, or an armor shop, a weapon shop, and 2 item shops. Glass hats are very good for defense. I'm not going to bother buying them because I'm really looking for adamant armors and I don't want to clog my inventory. I will buy 1 Thunderclaw in case we find edge. We already bought a white spear, so we don't need Gungnir's. I'm not going to really bother with Icebrand. It is a okay weapon for Rubicant, but because we're doing K main, I don't really care, and I don't have anyone who can equip it currently anyway. The only one who can equip it before I do Ordeals is Cain. We don't have him. Maybe we'll get him, who knows. The Black Sword's Dark Knight Cecil's best sword, but it's not worth buying here, and Mute Arrows are good against mages. But again, not going to bother buying it. So we'll go ahead and exit. But if this were a more normal seed, I would probably be buying some meat arrows just because they're cool. Hourglass 3s. Hourglasses, when you're on wild, come in 3 different flavors: Hourglass 1, 2, and 3. You will normally in S standard only see Hourglass 2s in shops. The only difference between them is how long they last. Most of the time they last long enough. Don't worry about it, pretty much. But Hourglass 3s do last the longest, so we're done looking for and buying Hourglasses. Big Bombs, Cast Fire 2. These are really cool. I'm not going to buy them because I want to play this a little more straight and with fewer J items. But if you're playing a seed like this for your first time, absolutely buy Big Bombs, use them. The tier 2 J items, Big Bomb, Zeus Rage, and Boreas are good through the overworld usually. Once you are kind of done with ordeals, they fall off pretty fast. Still useful a little bit in Barren Inn and a little bit in Barren Castle, but after that you're kind of done with them. Stuff scales too much in HP and they just become not too useful. So when you get them, use them early. Don't hold on to them for a perfect fight too often. You'll eventually learn when you should hold on to one or more of them. But if you're playing a different sort of seed, absolutely use them fairly early. Be fast rather than trying to be perfect. Elixirs are great, especially at 99. We don't have to worry about healing stuff anymore. We've got both Cure 3s and Elixirs. We're good. And we're going to buy 99 Silk Webs. Now, Silk Web applies 2 aspects of slow to all the enemies in the fight. It does not go through wall, but it does apply to every enemy because it's not a status effect, it's a stat debuff. It's a little bit of a different thing. It modifies a value rather than applying a debuff, which is very specific terminology. But one Silk Web slows someone as much as they can be slowed. Slow can be undone or modified with fast, and you kind of have a little bit of a war there between the two of them. But Silk Webs are great. Silk Webs help you a lot in many fights against bosses. We'll buy some life staves. Not gonna buy, like, Samurai arrows are the second most damaging base arrow. We saw tiaras there. Tiaras are good for Rydia especially. They're pretty decent defense for Rosa and Porum, but I'm really just not that interested in picking them up. I kind of want to keep a lean inventory, which means not picking up a lot of stuff that I could use but might not. Crystal shields are nice for Cecil, but I'd rather have an Aegis shield anyway, and we don't have a Paladin Cecil yet. Rune Axe is the best thing we've seen for Cids. We're going to buy that. We're going to buy 1 full moon so we can back row edge, and then we're going to leave town after we check this shop. Hourglass 1s we don't need. We do want to buy that pass. That will let us use the pass door to Troya in order to fight Zeromus at the end of the game. We haven't gone to Mysidia, we haven't gone to Agert, or we haven't gone to Kaipo. Do Kaipo. And then we'll probably head either to Antlion or to Fabul. Let's see what's here. We got defense swords. I don't really need to buy those because defense swords have really good accuracy. You can see that is 105 and 90 versus it was 10 something and 80 for the White Spear. Defense sword actually will do more damage early for Kain. Also a fairly good sword for Cecil as well. Kain has to get into like the level 50 or so for some natural accuracy boosts to overcome the 10% accuracy difference there. We'll buy some grimoires, sure. We'll buy Stardust. Lady. I don't have exit. I did the worst thing possible, which wasn't to move decisively. You don't have to do anything special as long as you move well in order to not be trapped by her. But that's okay. In fact, let's go back and show. You have two ways of dealing with her so you don't get stuck like I just did. You can either block her and shove her back up, or if you just hold up and right, you'll get to that guy, and then you can, we'll do that more quickly and not wait at the person. But if you walk perfectly, talk, leave, you'll be able to get in and out without her having time to do anything there. There, we found one cursed ring, which is cool. We're going to buy not the white shirt. The white shirt is great. We're just hoping to find adamant armors. But the curse ring can be useful if we let our anchor get a lot of agility and kind of do some resetting there. It is a good technique to know, not always required, and not always something that you should really spend a lot of time worrying about. Let's go ahead and go to Fabul. We got a couple more shops here. We got a combined weapon armor shop. Masamenes, we only probably need to, although let's just buy, so we have plenty of them. Ogre Axe is actually slightly better most of the time than Rune Axe, especially early. Ogre Axe is one-handed. You can see that Rune Axe says it's two-handed, strong against mages, 100% attack and 60% accuracy, where Ogre Axe is 80 attack to 85% accuracy, and is strong against giants. The Mad Ogre chest is both giant and mage, so either one of them is effective against those if you're ever doing the monsters in a box. But the extra accuracy is really nice. So that's why I like that. Also, it lets Sid equip a shield, which is cool. It gives him some extra defense sometimes. We are not going to bother with any of those. Boreas is a cool being very funny there. It's the tier 2 ice spell that casts as an item. Very nice against an early Rubicant. Very nice if you want to do an early Flame Dog chest when Mayabs can have key items. But that's not the case here, and I'm not really worried about Ruby. We do have Mylon. Blue Robe means it's Mylon. That can either be Mylon Z or Mylon and Friends, where he has a bunch of ghasts with him. But we're going to have Sid attack, and then since Mylon is a zombie, we're going to actually toss a Cure 3 at him. And this will not heal him, it will in fact do 1,000-ish damage. Knock him right off. The first few times you're playing the game, I definitely recommend to have Rivers McCown's Newbie's Guide. The one he last wrote was for version 3 of the game. There's been an update to catch it up to 4.6 and do a little reorganization. Hey, that's an Earth Crystal. It's another long check available to us. But the Newbie's Guide is great to have open, and there's also a page on, there's the enemy list page on the wiki where you can find all the enemies, and it will like tell you all of the traits that enemies have, so you can see what weaknesses and resistances they have, as well as what we've often called race in the community, and I kind of want to change it to trait because like robots or machines are a thing, and that is like not really a race. So I think trait is a better overall term, trying to popularize that a little bit. But here we have got the Antline spot. It's a pretty free spot. Mom Bomb's a little rude because she gets a lot of extra HP, so we're just going to hit her a couple times, and then we can wait. I think if Sid hits her once more, I think we got to do one more. Oh, okay, so now that she's in this script, she's going to grow larger. She's got like an extra 9,000 HP here that she gets over the cap most of the time. So we're just going to do that, and then we will use a Stardust. When you do the targeting for that on the transition, you do want to make sure that you actually see the hand go over all of the mini bombs. If you're too fast, sometimes you can only target one of them. But there, we got a hook. we're going to want to raise the hovercraft maybe, because we could have a hook seed. We have two different ways of getting underground, either the magma key or the hook. The magma key is the way that you generally want to get underground because it doesn't involve any extra fights. The hook is a little harder because you now have to fight the boss at the Rubicon spot, which is normally something you do about halfway through the vanilla game, as well as the boss at the King Queen spot, which has some pretty rude fights. Both of them can be very difficult fights at times. We're going to, now that we have the hook in hand, we're still not sure about whether or not we'll have the magma key. This is a free character spot, so we do get a Kane here, which is cool. Love to see him. Again, I recommend, and I'll go over more of the free character spots in a bit, but I do recommend the first time you play the game to actually get the free characters. I also just kind of want to show what it's like to not to do it, because I assume other people who are running this as the experts will do it with free characters and look for them pretty early. We're going to just preemptively move the hovercraft there. We are going to go to Mysidia, because I want to look at the weapon armor shop. We'll go ahead and pick up our other characters. At this point, I think I don't need Murasame or Ninja Swords because Masamune's are better in almost every case. There's a couple of levels where double Mura, as long as you're not thinking about anything else, can be better in terms of just raw damage per swing. This isn't doors, Antidale. You don't have to go there. Bahamut is a cool summon spell. We'll buy one in case we see Iridia. I don't remember what was in the armor shop at all, so I'm gonna go back in and look at it, and hopefully, oh, we got crystal rings. That's right. Crystal rings are cool. Crystal rings give you extra agility. They also block charm, sleep, and paralyze. So they're very strong. They have very good defense, but the extra agility is the part that really makes you love them. And makes you want to have them on some characters. +5 agility can be very strong. Kane, you get a white spear. This is a double free characters check. You normally get Palom and Porm here, but here we're getting Yang, and we're getting Dark Knight Cecil. So we're gonna go over deals next. Deals will give us yet another free character spot. The only one we're missing after we do that is at the Watery Pass, where you normally pick up Tella for the first time. Yang is a little bit of an interesting character. He comes with, he can only equip the claws. 3 of his claws do elemental damage, the Ice, Fire, and Thunder Claw. We did pick up a Thunder Claw. And his Charm Claw does extra damage to giants, but is very inaccurate. It's only got a 50% accuracy. And then he has Poison Claw and Cat Claw, which both Poison Claw just raises strength and Cat Claw raises strength and agility. Yang's main downside is he absolutely requires levels to do damage. His damage formula is based on his level. So we're going to make him go away, because you can't superpower him up with better weapons that much, where Kane and Cecil, and even Sid to an extent, can all like really jump up level based on their equipment. That's just not going to be the case for Yang. So here we are on Ordeal. This is a series of 3 fights that does unlock Paladin Cecil and gets Tella to learn all of his spells. Wyvern, I don't think I have any hourglasses or any of those, so we are going to we're gonna Bacchus. Oh yeah, he also is, it's Wyvern. So, and then you're going to Silk Web. I did not buy life potions. Oh, I did buy life potions. That's good. Oh yeah. We are going to, I didn't get that out fast enough, so we're not going to cast Grimoire with people. Grimoire goes through walls. Chocobo doesn't do much, so let's do Stardust instead. It's a little bit more, going to be a little more effective. There's only about 3,000 HP here, so we're not really that worried. But Wyvern will start casting Nuke at some point, and that's going to be bad for us. But we're through it. We didn't have to worry about buying Star Veils, although it's a good reminder that I should buy Star Veils because we had no starter kits. But overall, not bad. Now we have the back attack spot. Let's go ahead and heal up people, even though we're not really that hurt. We can move those down. So we are at back attack. This is D-Mist, who will attack 3 times and then disappear. Is resistant to holy damage, so Kane's not going to do very much, and in fact does absorb holy spells. Let's cast some more grimoires to get through this a little bit faster, maybe. Odin tried to show up there, but D-Mist has the boss bet. No love. There's Jin doing some fire damage, does pretty well. We get a Chocobo, does not do much. Chocobo is HP based. There's Shiva for some nice ice damage, does about the same as Jin. You're really hoping to roll Bahamut or Leviathan on these, by the way. There we go. This will be about 5,000 to 6,000. Or less. But that had more HP than the spot, so goodbye D-Mist. We have not visited Bedward, so we have not claimed the key item there yet. We'll be doing that soon. But I do want to do a couple other things. I'm taking a little bit of a random walk through the seed, but I'm doing that mostly because we do have to have a pretty high clear percent in order to do things. So I'm going to actually do those since we have Twin Harp and we have Earth Crystal, I'm going to go do those together. We'll probably take a look at the boss location. There's the Luca key that gets us Sealed Cave once we're underground. But we'll want to take a look at who the character is in on top of Hobbs. We'll take a look at who the character is inside of Eblin Castle and the shops or Eblin Cave, and we'll do the shops in Eblin Cave as well. Pale Dim does not like elemental damage very much. Cecil, you started with that, so we'll want to equip you with some different stuff at some point. But this spot here at Ordeals 3 only has about 1,000 HP. Pale Dim is a little bit scary if you are coming in with elemental damage, either spellcasters that only really know elemental stuff or relying on elemental J items or any elemental based attack. So like that Ice Brand or an elemental specifically in this case, fire, ice, or lightning. So Yang with a Thunderclaw does not do very much damage. It gets halved against that, and then Pale Dim does absorb elemental magic cast at him. So not a good thing to cast at Pale Dim. But now we've got our Paladin Cecil. Let's equip him with a power shirt and a crystal ring. He can have that rune axe, so that's at least something. Let's go see who's on top of Mount Hobbs and what they're fighting. I will then probably also, depending on who this is, whether or not I feel like I could or should be done with characters, we'll determine whether or not we're going to go fight or go see who's at the Watery Pass. It's a Rosa. I don't need another Rosa. Rosa's great, but on this flag set, you actually probably don't even want a single Rosa. Mages both learn spells and get HP less often and have to learn spells in order to be good. So they slow you down in multiple ways if you're thinking about racing. Again, and be aware that like I'll often think about stuff in terms of racing because that's what I often do. There's Porm, no Porm. But racing is definitely not the only way to play the game. There is no correct way to play the game. Play the game that is fun for you. But we are now going to go to the Choco. We're going to go into town. Oh, we already did the town. We don't need to go to the town again. We're going to take a moment and back row some people. Rosa gets to take that stuff off. We'll give her that. We'll go ahead and give her the power shirt, and we'll give her a crystal ring, because why not? And now Sid can equip the short bow and the iron arrows. That gives him the back row bit, so he's now back rowed. We're going to move Cecil into Edward's spot. Cecil is going to pick those up for just a second. Take him back off. He's now back rowed. Kane can't. Edward starts with the Dreamer harp. Harps are long range, so he's already back rowed, and Rosa started with that, so she's back rowed. So we will then move Kane and Edward, and we're actually going to move Rosa and Kane and Edward. And now we're ready to go fight Cave Magnus. Part of the reason I delayed this was because I didn't have the exit spell, which Cecil does come with. Give me your black chocobo. And part of it because it was a little bit slow until I got some levels and some extra damage. We're going to get a nice cutscene. We're going to get some extra heart music being played. You do walk down to trigger this cutscene. Here just says magnetic in effect. If you have metal equipped, so that little magnetic symbol that we saw on like the white spear, iron arrows, iron equipment, pretty much anything that has a metal in its name is going to be magnetic. A tiara is magnetic. It's a great way to magnetize Rydia, Rosa, or Porum, because it's restricted to those three characters. Most weaponry that is not a claw or specifically mentioning wooden in its name is also magnetic. Bow and arrow, except iron arrows, are not magnetic. But if you're magnetized, then you will short circuit to this cutscene. So Cecil is magnetic because he got a rune axe. Kane is magnetic because iron and the white. Sid is magnetic because of ogre axe. Edward is not magnetic currently, so let's give him an iron ring. Makes him magnetic, and Rosa will actually slip on the silver staff, which metal in the name is magnetic. So now we'll start this fight. We won't go through Dark Elf's normal script because we'll start all paralyzed like that. It's a nice little time save if you're thinking about it ahead of time. I wouldn't spend lots and lots of time. Like if you need to re-equip every single person, it's probably not worth doing the re-equipping because then you want to re-equip back. But in this case, it was pretty much just give Edward an iron ring and Rosa a silver staff and good to go. And we'll be able to actually switch Rosa back to the life staff during the fight. So that won't really take any time. I'll probably talk over the song a little bit, but then we'll play it more after the seed. So apologies for song lovers, we'll come back to you. This spot has a decent amount of HP, has very strong magic defense, so if you are early in the seed, you do not want to come here with just people who do magic, because it's probably going to go very poorly for you. Asura is a little bit gross, but we have a rune axe on Cecil, so we're going to be pretty okay. He is going to drink a Bacchus wine, which gets him the Vizork status, so that's good. And then Rose is going to cast a Silk Web, or use the Silk Web to apply double slow to Asura, which means she will come around and heal herself much less often. Cecil will do very good damage. As a level 1 Cecil doing multiple thousands of damage. And then we get a lot of levels. One thing this Flex it does have is the slingshot mechanic turned on, since you didn't see any experience modifiers. Slingshots are when a character is 5 or more levels below the median of your party. So you must have a full party of 5 in order to get it. Hey, that's a required twin art because we have to do Forge. So you, the slingshot though, is, oh, I don't have exit on him yet. I thought I was gonna learn it there. Oh well, we'll walk out. My brain is so used to just having enough levels on Cecil by the time I come here that I, for some reason, thought he started with exit, but no, he does not. He learns at like level 20 or something. But 5 more levels below the median. So must have 5 characters in the party. If you do not have 5 characters in the party, or your flag set doesn't allow 5 characters in the party, you do not get slingshot experience. But if you are, that means that you are able to get double experience while you're in that status. So Cecil starts at level 1. We hadn't accumulated any XP for him, so he was still level 1. Kane and Rosa by default always start at 10. Sid starts in the 20s. Eddie starts at 5. Eddie had picked up some experience. So he was probably not in slingshot range, but Cecil certainly was at level 1 based on everyone being, based on at least on the other 3 people being more than 5 levels ahead of him. There's a tower key, cool. We'll mark the twin harp as off, and I always mark the hook when I have picked up and moved the hovercraft. That is my signal to myself that I have done that, but I have a better idea of where the hovercraft is going to be. So anyway, so Cecil got double XP for that fight. You can really manipulate that by leaving characters down. Like Rydia can sometimes be not very useful until you get into some large fights where she gets, you know, a few 100,000 experience. That doubling that all of a sudden gets her to nuke much faster than normally would, because that takes about 1 million for her. So you can really use the slingshot in a bunch of different ways. If I was really looking to maximize some stuff, I probably would have done like knock Cecil over and found other ways to get through that fight pretty quickly so that I could slingshot him in more effective ways, but not really a big deal. We are also going to... nah, we're fine. We'll take a quick save here. We never bought camping supplies, so our camping supplies are these. Take a moment and clear up the inventory. We're going to go to the bottom here. First, we're going to sort. I didn't really do a whole lot. Then we're going to double click on the trash can. Now we're taking the trash can with us to throw away stuff. I don't need this iron stuff anymore. I don't need leather. This ruby ring doesn't make any difference. There's nobody else I will want to back row with the bow and arrow, so those can go away. These basic items I don't need anymore. I don't need a silver staff because I don't need to do any of those. And I don't need cloth armor. And that's about all that I don't need Stardusts anymore, and I don't need Grimoires anymore. Those we're done with. We'll keep everything else. You can see, like, I can't get rid of the Earth Crystal because it's required. You see that the fact that it's got the, well, it's yellow when you first get it. Like, we could get rid of the Bahamut. We won't need a Thunder Fire Claw. We've already seen, we've just missed Yang, and we've already seen Mylon Z, who is pretty much the main weak to fire boss, so we're not going to bother with that. But now we've done our save. We're going to fight the Maga Sister spot. One thing that can be a little tricky, if Demist is available in your seed, Demist can be here. You can get up here without the Earth Crystal. So you know what I said? I didn't care about Ruby? Well, I kind of care a little bit about Ruby, but oh well. We're going to slow him down even more. This is a very slow spot, but we'll make him go slower. Ruby does counter direct damage with a Fire 2 cast. So that even though we're successful, we're going to use Kane's weapon as an item so that we don't eat that Fire 2 animation and damage very often. But we're going to be fine with Cecil swinging. There isn't that much HP. We're probably going to eat a Glare sometime soon. Glare will probably kill somebody. This is a low enough magic spot that maybe, but we're also really low on health, so overall. So the Glaire's probably going to knock somebody off. It's fine. But if you wonder why I'm not attacking with anybody else, Cecil's doing enough attacking. With the Rune Axe, we're eating those Fire 2 spells. Eddie doesn't do enough damage to really help. In fact, we're going to be pretty content that he's going to take a nap here. Hey, we got the kill without the glare coming. That's a very slow spot, and that's why we threw the silk web. Because you notice that he had time to open his cape, but did not end up having time to glare at us. We're going to take a quick save here as well. We'll go ahead and use elixirs on a couple of people. You've got magic that you've gained. Take a save. It is recommended to, when you save, to rotate your saves. Because there are times where you will want to, you'll have a choice ahead of you, and you might want to make a save in one part of the game, right, like make a save on the moon, say, and go chase like a pan that you got, and you're looking for your go mode. You only need one thing for go, so you can go check the pan, and if the pan doesn't give you value, reset back up to the moon to finish out the moon. And anytime that you're at a decision point, you might want to do the pan. We are not going to take Fu. Fu is a great character. Fu is very, very strong. This isn't vanilla Fu, so he's not as strong as he could possibly be, but we're just not going to take him. We're going to dismiss him. We're not going to take his stuff. I will take Palom and dismiss Edward. I'll probably get punished with Spoon soon. But we're going to take Palom. We're taking Palom mostly because Palom can learn Quake and Virus, and those are very good spells, especially early. We will knock Palom over in this fight to kind of preserve a slingshot and get him a slingshot maybe on the quad ogres on the hook route, but it also depends on who is at the hook route. I'm going to jump with Pain. We'll fight. Well, Evil Wall did my job for me. Evil Wall is a jerk, and he cheats the ATB system in a way. He uses what's called Start a Chain to tie together his movement and his punches. And one thing Start a Chain does is that it, when he initiates the Start a Chain, when he tells the game, hey, I want to start a chain, rather than waiting like bosses normally do, or actors in general normally do, normally you say, hey, I want to do this, and then the game waits until it's your next turn in order for you to actually do it. Start a Chain is kind of like Berserk, where instead of saying, oh, I want to do this, and waiting, it just says, oh, okay, well, you go then. If you want to do it, just go ahead, and you got to do your stuff because you got to link things together. Or Berserk also automatically just initiates the attack rather than saying, I want to attack. So that is why Evil Wall feels very, very fast most of the time. You can kind of counter that with Berserk. Silk Web does help because it at least takes a little bit longer for it to possibly get back to its turn. But it isn't like a total cure-all. Evil Wall can still be pretty gross. Here after Zot, the reason we routed these and then we'll do Baron In is because I want to do these anyway. And Baron In, hey, one, we get a Magma Key, so that's great. We don't have to do the hook route at all. And these will land me outside of Baron. So we can now do Baron In. And then we can decide from here whether or not we're going to go in and do Baron Castle. If we get a Baron Key, we'll probably do Baron Castle real quick. Again, we're going to knock over Palom. Bahamut is no threat. This spot doesn't have very much HP, and Bahamut takes counts down to 5 and then Mega Nukes you. So you have plenty of time in order to set up, especially there. Maga Sister is a little bit rude. What's really rude, though, is that I've got a Rune Axe, so we're going to do a lot of damage. Slow down there, Cecil, with your 2400. Let's move that leather down. Cecil's going to do lots and lots of damage to this spot. The spot is fairly slow, even though we're anchoring based on Sid's agility, so everyone is using Sid as a reference point for how fast they actually go in fights. There's our darkness crystal, so we have moon access now. Okay, so we will go... let's go launch the whale, see what's up there. Let's not take second cane. Yeah, let's not take second cane. Second cane's cool. We've got white spears, like, we would be very happy most of the time to take second cane. We're just gonna pass on it for now. I want to see who is here. I've never checked the shop here. We don't have a Baron key, so we can't check the weapon shop, so we can at least check this item shop, and I did not check that earlier. Cool, there's our veils. We're going to take a 99 Moon Veil and a 99 Star Veil. I don't need the exits at this point. Rosa learns it from Zot. The reason I'm taking both is that if I ever need to wall an enemy indirectly, I will want to use a Star Veil as the second item on a character. Since these are effectively spells that get cast through the item, a wall doesn't pierce wall, it will bounce and reflect back on. And the Moon Veil gives you the barrier status, so you won't ever get hit with a purely physical attack. Like any boss, like Antlion's punches, not his counters, but just the punches, or any dark attack from the Dark Imps will just automatically miss you if you have a Moon Veil on. And that's really bad on a physical party if you bounce a Moon Veil onto the enemy, because that means all of your attacks will miss too. So that's why I bought both. I could very easily have just bought Star Veils, but Moon Veils are fun. So we'll go ahead and pick that up. Let's go ahead and look at Ablin Castle. See what stuff is there. We've already brought the hovercraft over, or not Ablin Castle, Ablin Cave. This is the castle that has 3 Myobs in it. We're not going to fight those or do anything with them at all. We're just going to go straight here. Let's take a look and see what's in the shops. Would love to buy some sirens. Would love to buy front hourglasses, maybe buy some coffins. Here we got Leviathan, Ether 2. Ether 2s are cool, but we don't need them. Leviathan is good, but we already have Bahamut. Guy Drum is fine, but we're already past the point where Guy Drum is really good. Fire Bombs are an HP based attack. They're good when you have apples. They can be good in other places, but we're kind of past the point where we want them at all. Nothing good or interesting there. I will buy 1 Dwarf Axe. That will allow me to slow down. This has -5 agility. You can see by the little arrow at the top next to the magnet sign. This is a long-range weapon, so this does also give the back row bit. It's the only way to back row Cane naturally. And you see that has a -5 penalty to agility, which is nice because it can slow down your anchor a little bit if you want. So we're buying the 1, I don't remember if I actually did, and let's go ahead and buy 2 Stardust Rods, because I will take Iridia if I see her. Let's go ahead and equip Cane with that Dwarf Axe real quick, and then unequip. And we'll move Cane to the center. We'll now anchor with Cane for a little bit. So he has a 23 agility. Sid only had a 16, so we're doing our anchor is faster. So we will be... everyone will look to Cane in order to determine their speed rather than Sid. And I might do a couple of fights to really, like, show the difference there. We might do that here at Dwarf Castle. Because it can be very dramatic, and we'll also show what the curse string does and how effective that can be at some things. That's another Rosa. I don't need another Rosa. Valvalis is there on the hook route. So had we come to here and seen Valvalis there, if Valvalis cannot block our underground access, that would have meant that 100% Magma Key was available on the overworld. Which we did find there at the Earth Crystal. But that's a good way to know too. It is very cool. It's a very good idea to dive at least to see who the boss is there at the hook route pretty early if you have a hook, just to know whether or not you are likely to or whether or not you're guaranteed to find the magma key on the overworld, or whether you should maybe think about doing that hook route a little bit sooner. But here we flew to Eggert because we have the magma key. We're going to use the magma key, just drop it down the well. And then we've also used the earth crystal and the magma key. So underground, we have the Feymarch freebie, which we're going to go do first. And then we can actually full clear the underground except for the pan bonk and setting up Sheila 2. So we're going to start with the Feymarch freebie. We don't need to fight or even look at the bosses in the Feymarch because we do not have K summon on and we do not have K no free on. So there's nothing in the two bosses that we would be interested in fighting. There's no key item available there, so we'll just skip them. I will do a quick peek just to kind of show you what they are and how you might want to at some point, if you ever want to peek them, what you do. But it is tactically just wasted time here. This will be the single chest we open in the game. In order to get to this chest, you walk into the Feymarch town, you walk out, you come down, and you get a pink tail. Hey, we can get an adamant armor. That's cool. And that's required. So hooray for me. Here, we've got our sirens. There's 99 sirens. Sirens summon the rarest enemy in an area. Mostly we're going to use them to summon either warlocks or double gold dragons or yellow dragons. Those are the three most popular sirens. Double golds and warlocks are summonable on the moon, and the yellow dragons are summonable here underground. And they are useful for your grind. We've got Artibo to speed people up if we want. I'm going to not currently, but we absolutely could. We could turn Rosa into a nice warrior if we ever find Heron robes or our Artemis or adamant armors. We're going to pick up ninja hats. I like ninja hats a lot. Although the other plus strength hats can often be better. I like ninja hats because they give you 3 strength, which is almost the 5 that the other ones give you. They do give you 3 agility. And when you have flag sets where you're fighting monsters in a box, the preventing sleep is actually really strong if you have to fight the stale men chests, either the 2 chests with the stale man in it early. And pretty much everyone can equip ninja hats, so we're just gonna like hand them out like candy to people. They also have very good defense for a hat. We'll get Palom. Palom, you can get a ninja hat, and you can get a Stardust Rod. We're not going to worry about anything else for you. I don't need anything else here, so we'll just go ahead and exit. Oh, I think I forgot to check out the Feymarch bosses. Well, I mean, that's fine. I apologize. We might go back and look at them later, but you really shouldn't actually bother fighting them in this seed or looking at them in this particular kind of seed. So we'll pretend like I did it correctly, if indeed I never looked. No, I did look at them. It was double sparkles. So Lit Bolts are the HP-based lightning damage. Zeus Rages are tier 2 lightning. Kamikaze are a way for one character to explode on some other target. You will often find uses for them to help set up for Golbez, because Golbez's Shadow Dragon will kill characters, so you can use a Kamikaze to get rid of possibly 2 of your own characters that you don't want to be alive after Shadow Dragon knocks your party down. Or you also do it at the Twin Harp. If you have people who are not magnetized, you'd be able to use the Kamikaze to have them knock each other over. A very, very nice thing to have in your back pocket. Here, finally, we get Excaliburs. Let's buy 99. Cecil is slowly becoming the most important person in the world. We don't need Dragoon armor, although Dragoon armor is good. It always gives you elemental resistance to lightning, fire, and ice, and gives you dragon defense. So things for the dragon trait to do half damage. I'm not really worried about either of those things at this point, so we're not going to bother. But having gotten the pink tail, we are going to go turn it in. I went to Silvera, right? I think I went to Silvera. I'm going to double check that I went to Silvera. Yeah, no, I went to Silvera. We'll turn in a pink tail on this flag set. That means we get an adamant armor. So we're going to give that straight to Cecil. We're going to up him straight to an Excalibur. Cecil go burr, as the kids say. So Cecil's going to be very fast. Adamant armor gives you plus 15 to all your stats. It gives you effectively elemental immunity and like kind of damage immunity. I mean, it's not quite immune to all damage, but you're going to have very, very high defenses, be very, very hard to kill. It does have a side effect that, because of how it's coded, does, if you take it off, make you weak to damage. Weak to elemental damage, specifically fire and ice will do extra damage to you. Early on in their careers, a lot of people are very afraid of that. And they shouldn't be. It's really not that big of a deal. We found our coffins, we found cabins, fantastic. We'll go make use of coffins pretty soon. Oh yeah, those are empty. That's habit. There's usually boxes there. Let's buy, we'll buy 99 crystal swords too, why not? And ribbons and bandanas, those are cool, we're just not gonna bother with them this time. The only sword in the base game that's better than Excalibur is the crystal sword. So Cecil just got stronger. He's very, very strong. I am now going to go up to the moon before we fight this fight. See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 9 key items. Okay. So we're not quite at 10 in order to get that, but we can get to 10 probably by visiting Sheila. So we're going to go to the moon. We're going to check and see what stuff is up there. We're going to check the character. We're going to, and actually before we even do that, we are going to go set up Sheila 1 and do that. Because I'm going to set up a slingshot on Palom. And possibly Rydia if she's here. I feel like I want to do reflex strats for Zeromus. I don't think other people will be doing that. Just kind of want to show a little alternate way and some stuff to think about on the way through a seed that you might not be doing normally. Or might not be shown by the other runners who might be showing you the more direct path. So I'm showing a little bit of an indirect path. I forgot to go visit Sheila. That's fine. So first we'll go to the Hummingway Cave. See what items are available here. There's not really a whole lot I'm looking for, so we're just kind of here to show that it's here. You want to talk to that Hummingway. Hourglass 2s are great, but we already have Hourglass 3s. We don't need any of the others. Thor Rages are tier 1 lightning. There are a lot of starter kits that come with them because they're very, very helpful in defeating Kainatsu, especially at rude spots for Kainatsu, because you want to dispel his wave, or his dispel the water that gathers around him to prevent him from casting the wave spell. Because that is HP based. There are places where he has lots and lots of HP and it is very hard to deal with unless you can dispel it. And then we're going to check the character here. I will take a Iridia or an Edge, probably. I'll definitely take another Cecil. Tella, we could do a D-Machine grind and do Tella and get Hallam way up there, but we're not gonna. But the fact that it's Tella and not Rydia means we're actually not going to set up we're actually not going to fight or do a grind at all yet, and we're not going to set up Sheila yet. We're going to go back to the blue planet, and we're going to fight Dwarf Castle instead, because we want to I want to find another character and kind of maximize slingshot information, or slingshot stuff there. So you cannot take the whale underground, unfortunately, so you must transfer back to either the Enterprise or the Falcon. The Falcon is the airship you get after you complete the hook route. It's the red airship, if you remember from the vanilla game. Okay, so we are going to do Dwarf Castle twice. I'm going to start. Move that down. Cecil is already equipped. Okay. So we are going to start with. So Cecil's at 40. Kane is at 26. So we're pretty fast. This first spot is not very fast. And Cecil's going to drink a Bacchus wine and we're going to be done with it. Then we're going to come back after we do both fights. I'll reset and we'll come back and we'll give Sid the cursed ring. So it makes Sid very, very slow, which will have an effect of equalizing the speed of everybody else. And we'll kind of see, you'll be able to see kind of the difference a little bit in both fights of how it happens. Because I'm going to fight them otherwise the same way. So we're going to have Cecil and move over our Bacchus wine. We're gonna drink our wine. We're gonna make sure that Hallam gets knocked over. We're gonna move that down because I don't really need it. And now the second boss is notably faster than the first. Is about on par with Kane's agility, actually. So it has much less HP, so it'll be a little bit harder to tell. But Cecil will only be a little bit faster than it, rather than much faster. Although this is going to be Mylon and Friends, so you do get a little bit of a better idea. Hey, we got an Edge. We will take Edge over. We're gonna get rid of Sid. We'll take his stuff. We'll go ahead and throw the Bacchus. Then we'll see Cecil mow stuff down. You see Mylon got an action in there. The gas always react to that action from Mylon, so just kind of go right away. And do their drains. And then Cecil will go, and we'll probably even see Mylon maybe do that at least one more time, depending on whether Cecil targets him on this next attack or not. Okay, Cecil a little bit faster relative than I thought. So we got through there. I'm not even going to see what this reward was. We're just going to reset. And I kind of want to, we'll switch to Sid in the middle with a cursed ring. So we'll take that crystal ring off. We'll curse him. Now Sid is at 1 agility, which means that anyone who is, in the relative agility formula, the best way to remember if people are what we call relative agility 1 or RA1 is if they are more than 2.5 times the anchor's agility. In this flag set, there's no specific agility anchor set, so that means it's always the character who's in the highest priority spot which if you have a full party means it's the person in the middle. If you have nobody in the middle, it means it's the person on top. If you have nobody on top, it means it's the person on the bottom. If you have nobody in the bottom, the middle, or the top, it means then it's the person in the cane slot here, which we call slot 4. And if you only have one person, that means they're always anchored wherever they are, even if they're in slot 5. So slots go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it doesn't matter whether it's front or back row, it's always center, top, bottom, middle top, middle bottom. If you look at the save menu, they'll be done in order there. But I always find it's easier to think about it when you're here, because you're messing with stuff when you're here. And you're thinking about stuff in terms of what you see on the battlefield far more, I think, than what you think and you see on the save menu. But, so, Sid is relative agility 1. I mean, everyone's going to be faster than him. We want to move Kane down here. Actually, we're going to move Kane to there to make sure we knock off Palom. They do want to keep him in slingshot range. What we might end up doing then is going to pick up the Porum that is around, since we are pretty much done with character checks, unless we get a Baron key. We have Baron key. We've got enough character checks to maybe be doing Baron at some point, or one of the other two to try and get more mages. But if you remember from the first time through, Leviathan never even got to be in this form because it takes a turn for Leviathan to get here. So even though the community will often say you slow the boss down by going to relative agility 1 and using a slow anchor, what you're really doing is equalizing speed. Which means the single boss is moving as fast as 4 of my 5 characters. Which makes a difference when all of my characters are acting very fast, like you do in a Berserk situation. But is less useful when that is not the case. We are going to not take Edge currently. We'll come back and get him, maybe. So like sometimes we use imprecise terminology, and it's just kind of hard to get people to really be precise all the time, because you are in effect slowing the boss down if you're doing some other stuff with relative agility 1 stuff, because you're able to get more of your team acting together faster, and you're doing what we also call clogging the queue, because the system resolves one thing at a time. So if you have a lot of people who are going constantly, you effectively slow the boss down, because it goes our side, their side, our side, their side, for whoever's ready. So if you have people who are ready constantly and acting, then you are slowing the boss down by virtue of the fact that you're getting more turns in than you normally do. It is a bit of a hard concept to wrap your brain around. There is a Lua script, if you want to use that in order to kind of show you some boss stat or some numbers in terms of the agility stuff, and that can be a future thing that we work on to get some of those videos that existed once back into existence. But in order to collect the Dwarf Castle reward, you just walk down. You'll automatically, I don't have to press anything other than just go down to get this up. And then you press buttons to clear the text, and then you get your reward. We got a pan. Cool. So now we have a pan that gives us 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 key items. Yeah. So now we will go do that. In order to use the pan, we'll go walk through Self Cave. The bonk itself will not give me a key item, but it will set up Sheila 2. So with this single trip, we end up getting some really nice routing efficiency in terms of walk time. On this particular check anyway, that we'll do Sheila 1 and Sheila 2 all at the same time with a single walk through Self Cave and a single walk up to Sheila's tower. Nice to do when you can get it, but sometimes it's worth making the freebie checks. We often in the community have a saying of check your freebies, do your objectives, check your freebies. So if you have an objective open that can give you progression to do other stuff as well, it's good to do that as early as you can. Which means don't save the football defense if you have defend football as an objective. Just go do it. Go do as soon as you're really reasonably able to do like the ribbon room. Go do that with defeat the boss of the ribbon room is an objective for you. Because doing stuff you have to do in order to win the seed is faster than doing stuff most of the time that you don't have to do. Because you want to skip stuff if you're thinking about in terms of a race. There's a rat tail. That's another key item. There's our adamant rock, so that gets us our forge. We can now visit Coco, get an Excalibur from there, and also visit his shop. And now we can turn in the rat tail and get another key item check. So we can forge. We're in go mode. Sheila just gave us go, so that is very cool. So we're still gonna check this just because I want to turn in the rat tail. It'd be cool if you gave me like a sand ruby and Rydia's there. We get a Baron key. Oh well. That'll get us our last shops though, so that's fine. I am not unhappy to see that. I will be taking the walk down the lunar subterrane. I assume other people are going to be doing the pass door, so you'll be able to watch them. Or if you've watched races in the community, you'll see the pass door being used very often. But we'll take the walk this time because I'm going to do a little bit of a grind on the way down. We'll do adamant rock. So you hand him the adamant, and we'll automatically take the legend sword. There are a couple of ways that you can actually lose the legend sword in the game, and that's okay. The game doesn't require you to have the legend sword in order to turn that in. You have to have earned it at some point, but you don't have to have it currently in your inventory. Having completed all objectives, we are then, by the power of the Learningway delivery service, given the crystal. We now have the crystal. We can now defeat Zeromus. Coco, you did a bad job. I'm glad you could make iron rings, my friend, but I was hoping for better. So let us go ahead and fly up here. We're going to take a quick look at the Baron shops. I would love to see adamant armors and a dragoon spear. That would probably help me the most in terms of speed or what I plan to do. Baron key to open the shop. Dragoon spear. We want one of those. No adamant armor, so I either missed the shop or they're not on the seed, which is possible. If I remember correctly, you're not guaranteed all weapons and armors, even under S Wild. So, Kane, we're going to give you Dragoon Spear. The reason we're doing that is because that gives extra damage to dragons. We're going to do double gold dragons in order to get the HP, or the XP that we need. I'm also going to pick up Porum here. Have both the twins. We're not going to spend the time trying to find Rydia fans, I'm sorry. I tried, but I'm not going to try hard enough to do that for you. I'm going to pick up Porum. We are going to get rid of Sid. We're going to take his equipment, though. We're going to take the Cursed Ring. We don't need either of the other things. Let's also get rid of, we're not going to keep Edge. We don't need a Bahamut summon. We don't need a Rod. We don't need that. And we don't need that. Okay. Porum, you can pick up a Ninja Hat. You can pick up a Life Shirt or a Life Staff. You can pick up a Crystal Ring. We're going to actually move Palom to the center and curse him for a moment. We don't really need to do that though. We can just do that. We will life him up. And then let's go to the moon. So for the grind that we're going to do, we're going to do double gold dragons. With Kain, they'll be pretty darn quick because he'll do lots of damage to them. You can either get them summon this fight in Cave Bahamut on any floor with sirens once you do go past the initial floor, but we're going to do it on the way down to Zeromus here, because we're going to go through the lunar subterranean for Zeromus. We'll go ahead and step on this tile to the left in order to refill all of our HP and clear any statuses. And then we're going to go to this tile on the right in order to refill all our MP. MP is restored. And then we will go ahead and walk down the lunar subterranean. I will walk on along the way to, we'll be going all the way to the bottom. We've already passed the point of decision to go to the Murasame altar, which is one spot where you can summon double golds. And then you can also do the Murasame fight if you want to. Can be a nice strategy if you have someone who already knows some pretty good healing magic, so you can heal up after a grind fight and then go straight into that one. Can be also a little dangerous to do that if K-Moon's on and there are a couple of bosses that you don't want to see, or you might not want to fight. Like, I am very willing to always skip a gauntlet, an alternate gauntlet on the moon. It's a very long fight. I'm willing to play some odds that it does not have a required key item behind it to complete the game, because it just takes so long that it can be a very good time save choice to just not fight the fight and say, cool, you're the last thing I'm gonna do, and if someone else took this earlier, that means they win. But if I skip it and they take it and it's not valuable, that means I probably win. I walked too far, so we're gonna save here. Let's check the ribbon room real fast. We're looking for one of the free fights to see if maybe that we can get a lot of XP that way. Not one of the free fights. We can't get life glitches off of that, so we're not going to bother. Just a quick reset, and let's go back up. We'll walk back through this room, and this is a normal. We're going to move that there. We're going to move There's the sirens. There's an hourglass. We want the other hourglasses as well. The white spear can move down. Okay, so we're going to use a siren. That siren's going to get us our double gold dragons. We're going to use an hourglass on them. They will still get attacks off, even though I've used the hourglass before they attack, because they've already queued up attacks. So they were going to do those regardless. Let's get Porum back up. Now that she's awake, we can Berserk Arcane. So Kain doing some pretty good damage, and then we toss a life potion onto the enemy as it's dying, And then we'll get credit for 3 gold dragons rather than just 2. So that gives 180,000 experience points, which means that Hallam and Porum get double that, so they got 360,000 experience points, which is why they're getting 30 plus levels. They will quite possibly slingshot past the other people on the team. Now we're looking to get them a total of 900,000, so we have to do this a few more times in order to get all of the XP for them, but that's okay. So we'll check, we'll first, Rosa will use Cure 3 a few times to get us back up to full health. We will make sure Palom is very slow for the next fight, because we want to do this again. We'll go ahead and do another Siren. And we'll just do the same process. Kane, we should survive. Everybody should be alive after these 2 go. Yep, we're very good. So Kane can just use a Bacchus. We'll get ready on the Life 1 cast. And so you can both cast it through the white magic menu as well as use the item. What you cannot do is use the life staff as an item in order to do that glitch. It will not actually cast Life 1 on the enemy. So you need to use an item, or you need to use the spell itself and not an item as the spell. Not an equipped item as the spell. Kids are almost there. Unless the dragons have the temerity to attack the same child twice, and it would have to be Porum, I think, is the only one they could kill, so we'll just Kane with a Bacchus. Let Rosa prepare. We'll just use the life item this time. Good job, Kane. These things have a little bit more than 8,000 HP, so that's how I'm able to kind of tell. I think they got like 8,200 or 8,150 or something. Hallam getting close. He's learned Weak and Fatal. We don't need to heal up anymore, I don't think. We're just gonna go for it. Perfect. Yeah, and Kane now very likely to kill on the first swing. And you see also our levels are slowing down. We only got 2 there. Rosa, however, learned White. Porum is pretty close. Hallam is very close. Once he learns Nuke, you know that you are 1 to 2 levels away, because Hallam's last spells are 2 levels apart. So if you're on, and he learns Nuke at 50, and he learns Meteor at 50, and Nuke at 52. See, so he's at 51. Porum also learns White at 51. So we are going to do 1 more Siren. Throw the Bacchus. Throw our life potion. And then we can move these down because we don't need them anymore. And boom, there goes the dynamite. There's 3 levels for Palom, gets Nuke. Rose has already got Holy. Porum gets White. So we're going to, Hallam, you get to speed up again. You get a crystal ring. That's fine. We are going to throw Kane in the middle. Kane isn't a super great anchor. I admit this, because he himself is fairly fast. but with a cursed ring, a dragoon spear, and a dwarf axe, we got him down to 18, which is not bad, not great. It's gonna be okay though. So we're gonna do this actually we're gonna do this Z fight a few different ways as kind of a showcase. Let's first actually do this with Zergers. So we're going to move back to where we're going to make Porum our first person. She is the least useful. That's good. Give Porum the cursed ring. Oh, is it still on Kane? Equip Kane with, we'll give him the Dragoon Spear. There's a little bit of a difference between the two of them, but it's not that much. We'll give him back some crystal stuff. Let's move this down. We'll move the pass up. We'll go ahead and sort just so we've got crystal and pass because we're going to do some stuff later. We'll go ahead and save. So, form, switch the two of you, magic, rearrange the black magic so you get nuke up front. We're going to rearrange your stuff so you get white up front, and for the next time we fight Z, we're going to rearrange that so you get white up front. Alright, so our setup. We have Porum at 26 agility. That's not true. We're going to give you a cursed ring. And we're going to take that ninja hat off of you. Yeah, good. Okay. Much better. You are at 11 agility. Cecil is at 55, so Cecil is more than 2.5 times, so he's at relative agility 1. Kane is at 46, so he is at relative agility 1, because that again is more than 2.5 times 11. Palom is it's just about there. Yeah, so he's relative agility 1. 11 times 2 is 22, times another half gets you 6 more, so 28. So he's more than 29, so he's good. And Rose is also good. So everyone with Porum is relative agility 1. Porum at 11 is Porum as the anchor. As long as your anchor is not at 0 agility, we'll make your anchor relative agility 5, because that's what the game does. It says, cool, you're the anchor, you're 5. You can go every 5. You can go no faster than every 5 ticks. Everyone else figure out how fast you're supposed to go relative to that person. And that's how fast, that's your speed limit. Zeromus has 69 agility. So you have to have 28 agility in order to make him not relative agility 1. So, you know, Zeromus is going to be RA1 pretty often. And just because of how that math works is there is no partial relative agility. They're all whole numbers. So if you are 27, Zeromus is relative agility 1. For 28, Zeromus is relative agility 2. If you're 29, Zeromus is still relative agility 2. So that 1 point of agility from 27 to 28 is very large for Zeromus, but pretty small for your team. So you want to hit 28 or be a little above it rather than be under it if you're not going to go for RA1 strats. If you're close to 28, go over more than go under. You, of course, can do just fine things without it. But first one, we're going to do Zorking strats. So this fight, Zeromus does do a full refill at a certain point. We're not going to worry about it too much because we're just going to do lots of damage. But first, toss a crystal to transform Zeromus. Then we are going to equip Cecil. Or not equip Cecil, he's already equipped. We're going to drink a Bacchus wine with Cecil. Then we're going to drink a Bacchus wine with Kane. And then we're just going to directly nuke Zeromus with Palom. What that's going to do is it's going to get Zeromus to counter that nuke with another nuke. And is going to temporarily set Zeromus's magic power to a lower number than it normally would be. It's what we call nerfing. The first Big Bang is easy to nerf. Future ones are a little bit harder. Going to be a little bit beyond the scope of this video to go over that. We're going to hold Rose's turn here for a second in order to toss a Cure 3 on whoever gets the counter nuke. It's her. She's going to cure herself. Won't heal all the damage, but heals enough of it. And we're not really going to worry about stuff for the rest of the fight. Crystal Sword Cecil is doing 8,000, like 7 to 8,000 a round. Kain is doing 2 to 3,000 a round. It means we're doing about 10,000 a round. We're fine on damage. I probably don't need to do anything else at all. I will definitely toss a Cure 4 after this Big Bang. But I don't think I need to do a single other thing the rest of the fight. Adamant Crystal Sword Cecil will absolutely carry the rest of this without anyone else doing a thing. Kain's going to help a little bit, push damage, but I don't need to do anything else here. One of the secrets of being faster at this game is learning when other people helping doesn't actually speed things up. Nuke sounds like a great idea. It does like 7 to 9,000 damage. That seems like a lot. But the animation time is very slow overall, and we'd want to throw up a Star Veil on someone to bounce it so that we don't eat counter nukes. And that's going to slow stuff down even more. So it's actually not very efficient to do hybrid when you're doing as much damage as I'm doing. If you're doing like 10,000 a round, you don't need extra damage from other people. It's okay. Cecil at 3340 HP here, and with the adamant armor on, can survive another Big Bang. We don't have to worry about it because Zeromus is dead. It takes a lot of Zeromus fights to get comfortable with those numbers, to get comfortable with knowing where everything is, to get a feel for when Zeromus is doing a refill, when a shake might be fake because you'll actually trigger a different part of his script. Because there are times where when he changes phases and does his refill, if he doesn't have the Big Bang actually queued yet, he can kind of have a shake that says I'm going to Big Bang, but you trigger him into the next. He's either already queued the shake or hasn't queued the Big Bang yet, and you won't actually fight that Big Bang. You'll get another shake. So there's a lot of ways there's a lot of stuff to deal with that Zeromus fight that takes time to get comfortable with. So that was Zergers. Let's go do it again, except we are going to switch to Kain as the anchor. We want to also take off the ninja hat because that is plus speed for you, and we don't want you to have speed. We give you the dwarf axe. Porum, you pick back up a crystal ring. You can pick back up a ninja hat. Now, I am not entirely sure that what I want to have happen will happen. Okay, you are faster than Rosa at least. So ideally, and if this doesn't work out, we're gonna go back to the blue planet, pick up a slow anchor, and make it truly work out. Ideally, the way this fight goes is Kain tosses the crystal. Let's see. Kain is at 1836.47 is what we need. Because half of 18 is 9. That means 36.45. So 46 is the agility we need for RA1. Cecil does hit RA1 at 55, thanks Adamant Armor. So that does mean Kain will go first. That is a weird thing in the Zeromus fight. Pretty much if you want your anchor to go first in Z, when normal anchoring, you need the person in the top slot to be RA1. So Kain will go first, he'll toss the crystal. Cecil will go second, we'll toss a Star Veil up on him. Assuming Porum goes third, which is what I want to happen, Porum will bounce a white off of the Star Veil that Cecil will throw up. Hallam will direct nuke to nerf. Rosa will queue up a white off of a bounce, and only those three will do damage. We might take one swing with Cecil, but we don't want to do the first refill. We don't want to trigger the refill that happens at 45,000 HP damage dealt, because that's a reaction. And since we're bouncing damage, we don't trigger the reaction, and we're just going to do reflected damage after the first nuke and maybe one swing from Cecil. So, Kane, toss Crystal. Cecil, toss Star Veil. Or Moon Veil, it doesn't really matter. If I wanted to be really tricky, I could double Moon Veil Cecil to guard Zeromus, and I could then also, if I didn't trust my turn order, I could do some stuff where the person who's zerking is swinging and eating some turns and whatnot, but we're not going to bother with that. We're just going to do a nice, simple reflex strats here. So yeah, Porm went next like we wanted. She's going to bounce the spell. Oh wait, I am on the wrong battle speed, I think. So let's go, start over. You want to be on battle speed 3 for doing this. I don't remember if I moved it to there. We're going to make sure we moved it to there. We're back to the correct way otherwise. A note about battle speed. You for your first seeds, we highly recommend starting the game at battle speed 3 and sticking with that unless you find that you need to slow it down, which is a higher number. The battle speed governs how fast the game kind of processes turns and how much time you have before each tick of the battle system, kind of like, you know, a tick on a watch for each second. But it slows down how many milliseconds it is between one tick and the next. When the game says, okay, you didn't tell me what you're going to do fast enough, I'm going to go give priority to somebody else. You don't see this happening at all in the game. It's a hidden mechanic. But if you ever notice how you can be on the screen where you want to input fight or but tell it to go into a magic item menu or tell it to go into an item menu where stuff just happens, you kind of seen where it's not waiting for me to do an action. It's always kind of active. It's not a true active where even if you're in a menu it does stuff, but if you're on that kind of main screen, if enemies are ready to go and you have kind of passed a certain amount of time before the tick resolves, the game's just gonna let the enemies go. So you want to start your career in Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise probably on BS3, because you were going to do more thinking and planning during the fight than I'm doing most of the time, because I've played this so much that I know what I'm doing. I don't have to do a lot of active thought. I am recalling what's worked before and just kind of reacting to the situation with muscle memory. The other part of it is the game moves so fast in terms of those ticks going by that there's not enough time for the system to draw the menu on the screen so you can hit the A button in time in order to not pass turns back to RA1 enemies when just playing the game normally. A task can do it fast enough, but humans really can't. So that's why you want to go to battle speed 3. You know, that gives you enough time to make sure you're not giving turns back to the computer. So again, Kane does the crystal. Cecil is going to throw a moon veil in front of him. Orm is going to bounce the white spell off of that. Hallam will actually jump her in the queue in terms of getting that spell off, because white has a delay and Nuke doesn't. So Nuke is going to go off faster. And we're doing it in this particular order because we don't actually have time for Zeromus to become vulnerable if Palom was in the bottom slot. We actually need a little bit of extra time for Zeromus to go and take a turn, become vulnerable to that nuke, because he has an immunity flag until his first turn in the game. You are going to cure 3 of the Rosa. Yeah, we're just going to do straight reflected damage here. And everything past that first nuke directly at Zeromus, that is, that we use to nerf this first Big Bang. This will do no more than 1200 damage to anybody, which means everybody lives. And now we just bounce spells off of the wall from in front of Cecil for the rest of the fight, and we don't worry about anything else. There's not a single active action anyone else needs to do. This will get a little spooky. We'll probably see Zeromus shake at least once. We'll see him shake one more time, just because white is a slower spell, so we're not going quite as fast as straight nukers would go, but it'll be fine. The running here is mostly reflex. It's also partially because the running animation does weird stuff to the battle system and actually makes things go slightly faster in real time than they do normally. But it is such a minor time save that it is not something to really think about or worry about or add to your game for quite a long time. It is a very, very minor speed change. But when I know the fight well and I don't have anything else to think about, I can just do this and, you know, save tenths of a second. And there's Rome's dead. As long as you have 3 people doing the best spells, you should always be fine. It is possible, and if you have 3 white mages, rather than 2 white mages and a black mage, that first you might want to nerf with a Silk Web, which will give you a little bit more time, because it'll slow Zeromus down. It will actually change his speed modifier to put him at RA2 for the rest of the fight. You can also have someone at 28 agility, rather than slower, in order to, with a Silk Web, then that puts Zeromus to RA4, which puts you on much more even footing, and helps deal with white's delay, because white is a pretty slow spell to get out. But there is both Zerker strats and Reflex strats. When you have powerful parties, you want to do one or the other and not really mix the two. You don't want to keep casting if you're doing mostly Zerker. You don't want to do Zerkers when you're doing hybrid, or when you're doing Reflex strats, because they just meld poorly and it takes longer. But if you're in a race, sometimes it is faster to go sooner with a less powerful party and do a hybrid, a more hybrid approach than this. But that's again future stuff to worry about in other seeds. In a seed like this, where it is very high power because of, you have access to sirens and you have access to all the best gear pretty much, you don't worry about it as much. You just kind of go. You just go do things. Go fight stuff. It'll be fine. But make sure to stop by the Discord if you have questions. There will be more of these Learningway seeds. We'll change flag sets up to kind of showcase some different things. We wanted this one to be a pretty comfy, go forth and kill stuff sort of seed. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully this was helpful. And check out some of the other ways people went. I'm sure everyone's going to do slightly different things and explain things in slightly different manners, and hopefully one of them really clicks with you. But thanks for stopping by, and have a good one. Oh, I promised some twin harp, so we'll go back to the blue planet and do that, as well as show you how to do the past door in case you do want to see that. You do get a nice summary of bosses killed and characters you found and key items found and treasure chests you open. As you get better at the game, and if you're looking to improve time, if you're timing yourself and wanting to improve time, you will eventually focus at least somewhat on keeping treasure chest count down. because it's an easy way to spend a lot of time that you don't realize you're spending. And very good players will often be looking for treasure chests in like be happy with 50 or fewer as a very vague number. It floats a lot depending on flag set and stuff, and just composition of a specific seed. It is not something to worry about early on. You want to kind of learn the mechanics of fights first, and then learn how fast you can do them and how you can do them quickly with as little power as possible. There are a lot of layers to knowledge in this game. So we're just going to reset there, though, because we don't need to continue on. Magic. We will exit. And we'll go back down to visit Bedward and Troya. And then we'll play the Twin Harp from his bedroom there. But I definitely recommend that even though you might want to time yourself early on, don't time yourself for the first couple of seeds. You will see your times drop dramatically from the first like 3 seeds. So depending on how your reward system goes, like that might feel good, and then you kind of plateau for a while as you are still incorporating lots of stuff, but the easiest speed wins aren't there anymore. So depending on how your own mental reward system goes, I would not worry about timing yourself for 5-10 seeds. Just play for fun, enjoy it. But we're gonna do the pass door first, in case you never went to the pass, aren't watching races or haven't seen anyone do it, or never played vanilla enough and bought the pass in Troya. Land outside of Troya, you go into the town, you walk up to this pub. This is an item shop, which we hit earlier. That's where we got our last 3s. In vanilla, she sells a pass for 10,000 gold. You turn in the pass to this guy. In vanilla, this is a kind of club area where there's some dancers and whatever, but here it's the road to Zeroma. So we would take this, we'd step on that transport, and we'd go to that very bottom level of Lunar Subterrane and fight Zeromus. There's no way out of that once you step into this, so we're not going to step into it. We're just going to go back out and not worry about it. But that's how you would fight Zeromus if you didn't want to go on the moon. Which there are plenty of good reasons to not go on the moon. It's faster if you have a wipe and a reset to go from here than it is from the from even that bottom save point that you can get to on the Ribbon Room floor. This is also, if you finish your grind underground or haven't raised the whale yet, it's much faster to just hop in there and do it. So there are lots of good reasons. But here, once you've talked to Edward and once you've beaten the game and seen that, seen the solar system start, is when you can get the harp song. So I'll let this play and then sign off. Then thanks for watching. Come to the Discord. Link is on the wiki or on the main free enterprise site at ff4e.com. There'll be an invite to the Discord. Come into Newbie's Corner, introduce yourself, and or just start asking questions. We're a very friendly group. Lots of resources available in the Guides and Resources channel, and of course I've mentioned the wiki a few times, which is at wiki.ff4e.com. Lots of guides and resources there. There'll be the Learningway section, info.tella.life. They'll have links to other Learningway seeds that'll be a little bit of a guided progression. Right now we're targeting about 3 of them for 4.6. We're kind of somewhat expecting version 5.0 to show up in the new year, or in this year maybe. And details of that are not super clear on exactly both when it's coming out and what's changing or not. So we're going to do a little bit of a Learningway series, and then we'll kind of refigure out whether or not how we want to redo stuff if we, for 5.0 to have those learning resources updated and redone or whatever. But these will be a great way forever, really, in order to learn at least some of the basics of Enterprise. Hope this has been helpful. Have a great day.